Hello, in this video we're going to be creating isometric object number 5 using Autodesk Inventor. To do this, we'll start by creating this, what people refer to as this house shape. We'll do this outside base and extrude it back, and then we'll create this kind of where your front door you may consider would be if you consider that a house shape. So first we need to see the size of the object, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide, and if we look, it's 1, 2, 3 tall on the rectangle. Then we have this additional peak that goes up an additional 1 and 2 there, and it meets in the middle if we count 1, 2, 3 from either side. So that's the first object we'll start to create. So to do that, we'll start a 2D sketch. We'll do on the XY plane. You can either use some rectangles and lines to create this object, or you can freehand it with lines. Either way is going to end up working. So I'm just going to use lines since a lot of people are familiar using lines. So first I'm going to go across, and I need to go across 6. So I do 6 and enter. Again, I'm going to zoom out so you can see a little better. We go up at 90 degrees by a height of 3, hit enter. Then we need to make this triangle here at the top. So we need this peak at the top that goes up an additional 2. I'm not going to worry about the exact location right now. We'll get it set here in a second. So I'm just going to click and then click on when I get back to my origin. I can line up. You can see the dash line. It lines up with my additional height. And then I can go back to my origin. And now I can do some dimensioning to help make sure this is the right size and shape of my object. So this line should already be 3, but I can click and dimension and set it at 3. On the peak of the roof, I wanted that to be 5 tall, so I can click on the bottom to the top. 3 plus 2 gives us a total of 5, and that can be 5. To make sure each piece is the same size, I can dimension to the middle, or I can use what's called the equal constraint, where the pieces are equal size. So the bottom right hand constraint up here is equal. And I'm just going to click on each of the lines. Click on line 1 and line 2. Now those lines are the same size. So that fully constrains. It makes my shape all purple just like we wanted. And we're going to finish our sketch. And now we need to extrude it. We need to see how far back to extrude it. So if we look at this shape, you want to find a line you can easily count along and count how far back it goes. So if we look on this side, we can go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll go back 8 by extruding. If you zoom out, you can see a little better and typing in 8 as our distance. And then we hit OK. Now we need to create this object that comes out in the front here. We need to create that shape that comes out. So if we look, it's 1, 2 forward of our object. So what we're going to do is create a work plane in front of this object. So I'm going to go to where it says work features and planes. I'm going to click the down arrow, and I want to do a plane offset from another plane. So offset from plane. I'm going to click that front face, and it shows the arrow going forward. So I'm going to type 2, and you can see it brings a plane 2 forward from there. Then I hit enter, and now I have this plane I can sketch on that's in front of my object. So now when I start 2D sketch, I want to make sure it says work plane 1 before I click. I don't want to just click somewhere on it and end up in a different location. So it says work plane 1, and I can click on that work plane. You can extend or change the size of that work plane if you need to. You can move it around. Even if you're sketching and it's not on the plane, you're still sketching on that plane, even though it doesn't look like it. You're not on the ground, you're still sketching on that plane. Then we need to look at our shape, so we can create the exact shape we need. So we can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4 wide, and then 1, 2, 3 tall for the rectangle portion. And then the top goes up by an additional 1.5. So it goes up 1 and then a half more. So we have a 4x3 with an additional 1.5 peak. So to do that, I'm just going to use my line tool. I want to make sure I can zoom in to make sure I start on the object. I'm not going to worry about the exact location right now. I'll dimension that later. But I know it's 4 wide, so I'm going to type in 4 and hit enter. Then I know it goes up vertically a distance of 3, so I want to make sure it's at 90 degrees. Type in 3 and hit enter. Then just like on the previous shape, I'm just going to make a rough sketch of my peak. I don't need that exact location. If I zoom in, I can make sure I line up with my lines. You can see the dotted lines line up with where I was originally, and then I can connect that final line straight down at 90 degrees. Then we want to mention it to make sure everything's the right size. We could do this one as 3. It should already be 3. We shouldn't have to do that, but we can do that just to make sure. Then we know our peak is 1.5 above. I'm going to go, you could go down to the baseline. You can go all the way down as well. I'll just go to the baseline this time. I'll move all the way out, type in finally, we said both of these pieces are equal, so on the same way we did on the front, we use the equal tool, and that's going to help constrain this shape into place. So now we should have a fully constrained shape. It's all set in place except for it can move side to side. So I need to see how far it is from the side. So if I look, it goes in 1 and 2. So I'm going to again dimension from the outside edge to my edge, and it should be give us a value of 2. It says we're going to over constrain when I do that, so I'm going to double check and make sure I clicked in the right spot. So if I go from this corner to this corner here, it should be a value of 2 and enter. So now we got fully constrained. You can see it went from all green to all purple. Everything's set in place. And now all we have to do is extrude it back to our object. So to do that, you hit finish sketch. Then we hit extrude. When we do this, we want to make sure we get the whole shape. Sometimes it may pop in a line in the middle. We want to make sure we get both the upper triangle and the lower square. So in this case, it first gives me the square, and then I can click on the triangle, and it gives me the whole shape. See, it's going the wrong direction, so we got to change the direction first to make it go back. And then we just want it to go back to the next object. So where it says distance, I'm going to change that to next. And that makes it run into the next object and then stop. Then I hit OK, and you see it's created that object that I wanted. If you want to get rid of that work plane so it's not bothering you, you don't see it anymore, we can just right click and get rid of that visibility. So now it should match your isometric object number 5. Hopefully this helps in your object creation. Good luck.